Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh everyone, and welcome back to the ASI weekly Q&A with Shaykh Akram Nadwi on every Thursday at 6 p.m. GMT after a brief hiatus. Shaykh, before the questions start coming in, we have a few anonymous questions to ask. So I'll ask you those and then we'll begin. We'll take the questions from the question box. The first question is, a sister has been gifted with a brooch. It's a pin that is usually pinned to a blazer or to your hijab, that has the image of an animal, a decorated animal, a peacock. She's wondering, is it permissible for her to wear this brooch on her clothes, seeing it as it is an image that has visible eyes?
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Those things which actually are, small pictures of the animals or something which people actually don't respect so much. Like, the time of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, sometimes they used to bring toys for the children, which used to be horses or some animals, and people did not mind that. So I think it's just toys or something like the pin, for a purpose. Sometimes they even used to have rings, which used to have some pictures. So as long as it's not so obvious and it does not you don't see it when you're praying. So I think there's no harm in that, inshallah.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question um, is it permissible for someone to do an umrah on behalf of their deceased grandparents? And if so, does he have to do one umrah per grandparent, or can he have the intention of doing the umrah for multiple grandparents or multiple people for one umrah?
When you're doing any ibadah on the behalf of the people, maybe they died or whatever, what you mean really is, you mean that the rewards go to those people. So you can, like, for example, people make sacrifices for their parents or for the people in the past. So they can make a sacrifice for everybody, one animal for each one. Or they can make one animal only and intend the rewards for everybody. It rewards go there. So there's no harm that you can do one umrah for your father or one umrah for your mother, or you can do one umrah and you intend the reward for all of them. It is the reward, unless it is further for them and they did not do it, and you want to do qada for them. Yeah, then it is you have to do separately. If somebody started umrah or something like that, or somebody could not do further hajj, yeah, then you have to do properly. Otherwise, the rewards, you can make one umrah or one hajj or anything, and you intend as many people as you like.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. And the third question that we have that is anonymous is, can you explain the hadith about the Rawda of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, about from his house to his members, the Rawda is a piece of Jannah.
Yeah, so there are hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, between my member and between my house, there's a garden from paradise. So some people think take it literally, that is small space, because the mosque was very small in those days. So the place between the member and between the mosque was very small. Now the member has moved somewhere else, very big space, but the people still think the old space what meant, and everybody rushing there and fighting and queuing to go and pray there. That you don't find the time the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The truth of the matter really is, there are hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that he said the mosques are gardens of paradise. Go and graze there. Every mosque is a piece of paradise, and the mosque of the Prophet is the more important. So I think if people pray anywhere in the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ, they are praying in the garden of in the garden in paradise. All the mosques are gardens of paradise, and the mosque of the Prophet is more important, and Haram Makkah is even more important. I don't think really there is any clear argument for the people who think this small space is the garden. When the Prophet said, from my member to my house, he meant the whole mosque. That was the mosque was in his time. From the member to his house, that was the mosque. So he meant the whole mosque is garden from paradise. Now the mosque has become big, so the whole area is now guard. So I don't think there is any importance of just thinking that is small space to be a rawda. Pray anywhere in the mosque or the words of them. The most important thing is your sincerity and purity of the heart. That's what actually matters to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This fighting and queuing, and then many people go and take their photos and cameras, and they they do publicize everywhere and broadcast, and people can see them that they're praying in the road. So it is just basically wasting the reward. Do anywhere sincerely, nicely, any part of the mosque, you get so much reward you cannot imagine. So anyway, my understanding is that the whole mosque of the Prophet Sallallahu in the Rawda, not only that small piece.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question, we'll start taking the questions from the chat box now. The next question's by Fariha, who asks how to pray Salah while on travel, because even if I find a corner, people keep passing in and around me, and they can be seen in the hindsight. Can I close my eyes at that time?
No, you don't need to close your eyes really. People are passing by, it doesn't matter, as long as you make effort to pray properly, so you don't need to close your eyes. Yeah, people can pass and you can see them. That's not you should concentrate. Don't make effort to follow them. But if you are looking at your place of sajda and still you can see some people passing by, there's no harm in that. So prayer should be done on the time. If you're traveling, do while traveling, and do as best as possible. Maybe it is not as complete as when you are at home, but it doesn't matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test the believers. He wants them to do the prayers on the time. So even if it's incomplete, because you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's so much reward. It is not convenient to you, it is not easy for you. Still you pray, the reward is so high. So I always advise people, wherever you are, pray on the time, and pray as best as possible. So even if you cannot do complete prayer, for example, you are traveling in the aeroplane, you cannot stand. Okay, pray while sitting. You cannot sit. There's no space. So many people, or they don't allow you. Then pray on your seat where you get reward. So people should not miss the prayer. Always prayer should be done on the time. Even if it is not a very complete prayer.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Fatiha, who asks, Salam ya Sheikh, could you please elaborate about the meaning of muntahaha in Surah An-Nazi'at, verse 44, that is related to Allah's knowledge of the Qiyamah?
Yeah, the thing is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has withheld so much knowledge. Allah has given the people the knowledge that they need, and He has given to angels the knowledge that they need, because angels are agents of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to His creation, so they need something more than the people. So He has given them, but many things, millions, billions things, unlimited things, it all in the knowledge of Allah. Nobody knows, even angels don't know. Among those, things which cannot be counted, also is the knowledge of the day of Qiyamah. When the hour will come, when all the things will be destroyed, and then when again everything will be, people will be raised alive. So and just know it is going to happen, but they don't know when. That time is only known to Allah. So when He will command the angel, then He will blow the horn, and the whole universe will be destroyed. And when again Allah wants to make people rise up, then He will command him, and He will blow the horn, and everybody will be. To that, what Quran says, muntaha means end is to Allah. Nobody knows. Really. People can guess, people can have sign of it, but definite knowledge is only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is there the reward of Hajj and Umrah if I pray Fajr in the mosque and stay till Ishraq and then pray 2 rakat after 15 minutes?
The thing is, those hadiths actually are very, very weak. What is guaranteed is that if people pray Fajr in Jama'ah, so then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, guarantees everything for them the whole day. But those hadiths which are actually until sunrise and all those things, none of them are authentic. Some are very, very weak. So I don't advise you to follow that. What you can do is make effort to do Fajr prayer on the time in the masjid. That is more important thing. But if you want to stay after Fajr, you can stay, you can do dhikr, and then when sun rises, after that you can do 2 rakah if you have time. But believers actually don't have time because they do so many things. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ, after the Fajr, they used to go home and they do their work. The wives of the Prophet, everybody used to go and do their work. People have so much things to do. And the Prophet ﷺ loved the people when they spend their time at home. Nevertheless, if you have time, you don't have family, you are not so busy. If you want to stay in the mosque, there's no harm in that.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question we have is, after Salah and Deen, what qualities should I look for in a prospective man to marry?
I don't really think you need to go worry so much about Salah and Deen. It is their matter. If you are looking for a man to marry, always advise women to look for two qualities. That's what you need to do. First quality is that he must afford accommodation and expenses. He must have a good job, so he can provide you independent accommodation, not with his parent or something like that. Shared independent accommodation where you can take off your clothes, where nobody can enter without your permission. So you should be independent. Nobody from your family, nobody from his family lives there. The first right of the women is they must have independent accommodation, and all the expenses like food, clothing should be done by the man. So this is the most important thing. Second thing is your husband is someone who gives you full space for ibadah, for education. He does not spy you, does not become angry very quickly. He's a patient and he's accept you, he respects you and loves you. That what your second thing is. These two things are important. Third thing is, sometimes people look appearance or personality, how they look like. That up to you, whatever choose. But the most important thing, two things. If people don't pray, they will be, accountable in the day of judgment for that. Maybe when he marries you after being with you, and he sees that you are pious, he becomes pious. People change their life, but don't make all these conditions. Otherwise, nobody get married. Hardly there are 10% Muslims pray. So what means 90% women don't marry? Think really. So what we advise people is, the husband must provide accommodation expenses. First thing. Second thing, he must respect you.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question that has been asked is by Shahriyar, who asks, why in Surah Ar-Rahman is the word Rabbikuma used instead of Rabbikum?
In Surah Al-Rahman, you can address it to the human, human being and jinni, to two kinds, two types of the things. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Because Kuma means two. And the question not only about Kuma, the question should be also about Tukadhiban. Why not Tukadhibun? Because dual, in Arabic language, dual is Kuma and Tukadhiban. If it is plural, it will be Tukadhibuna. So it should be فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمْ تُكَذِّبُونَ. But it is about two, jinn and human being, two different kinds. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning these dual. So everybody knows that jinn and human being both have been addressed in this surah.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question we have is, do I need to stop removing my hair and cutting nails if I give money to perform a qurbani in Dhul Hijjah for myself?
No, don't need it. There's no proof for that. So you can do as usual, and the hijjah will be done on the time. You can't do that. Because Aisha also said the Prophet did not stop from anything. So that hadith is more authentic in this matter, that people don't need to stop from anything. They continue things as usual, and your sacrifice will be done.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is by Marina, who asks, I apologize if Dr. Nadwi has answered this question before, but I would like to understand the hadith, لَعَنَ اللَّهُ قَوْمًا وَلَوْ أَمْرَهُمْ إِمْرَأَةً. Because the way I was made to understand this is that Allah will curse Any business, school, or anything that is being led by a woman. My sister's high school teacher said she cannot allow the class president to be a girl because that is haram.
Thing is, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks in the Quran, to listen this, because I explained this thing so many times, and then you say that, you apologize. You have to be a good student, learn and understand, and write down somewhere to never forget. Because I explained this hadith so many times. So whenever Allah and His Messenger speak, it always in context. Everything in the whole world, nobody speaks general things. Sometimes Quran says, the land and means Makkah. Sometimes Quran says the land and it means Medina. Sometimes Quran says the land and it means Arab world. So these words come and they have a specific meaning. So similarly, what happens when the Prophet wrote a letter to Persian people, they did not respect him. They tore his letter, so he made dua against them. And then what happens? The king died, and people appointed his daughter as a king, as a queen. So the prophets are referring to these people that because he made dua that they are going to be destroyed anyway, and they say, and how can we survive these people who have made this woman their leader? It does not mean anywhere people made their woman leader they are cursed. They can't succeed. He's just saying about these people because he already has made curse them. So and he's thinking this is another sign because they have no ability. There's nobody to lead them, so that he's finding. But otherwise, woman being a leader, that's not forbidden. In the Quran, it mentioned the the woman in Yemen. Her name is mentioned in some sources as Bilqis. She was a ruler. She very good. Actually, Quran refers to her. She's a wise person. There have been many good rulers in India, Radhiya Sultana, and then at the Emirate of Bhopal, there have been few ladies, very pious people, and their rule was the best one. It is not that the women cannot lead. It is just specific about those Persian people because they are the people who unbelieved and they did not respect the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he's referring to them that these people are not going to succeed. But it does not mean anywhere in the world if the people make women as a leader, they will not say no, they will succeed. Aisha Latna, she became a leader of her people. If a woman cannot be leader, the people have asked her not to lead, but actually they asked her to lead. And the people who asked her to lead, they were companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Among them, there are two people who got the good news of paradise: Ashra Mubashara, Talha ibn Ubaidillah, and Zubair ibn Awwam. Both were on her side, and a huge number of companions supported her. She was mistaken, not because she was leading, because she was on the wrong side. Otherwise, leading itself was not something forbidden. So that hadith is only specific about a certain story that happened in Persia. It is not general. It's not something the Prophet said to everybody to teach. It is just very specific.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. The next question being asked says, Salam, can women dye their hairs even if it's just for themselves and not for their husbands?
Yeah, people can dye their hairs as they like. There's no harm in that. It is not that women only dye their hair with their husbands. What they can dye. Yeah, if the husband does not like, yeah, then you have to, think because, you know, you have to live in peace and harmony in the house. But if he does not mind, yeah, the people do whatever they like.
Ahsanallah ilayka, Sheikh. The next question is, what is the role of Muslim countries regarding all the wars going on in the world? Should they intervene? They are being criticized for not doing anything.
The thing really is, if you are not, you don't have strength, you can't do anything anyway. Just because you think now time has come, you do. Like somebody very weak, and and he wants to do something extraordinary. He cannot do. He has to make himself stronger. Muslim countries are so much dependent on others, and they are not really democratic. And if anything, if they do anything, if America wants to make a rebellion against them in their own country, they will be thrown away. They have no whatever they can do. They should put pressure, politically that they can do. They should help, as much as possible. They should not unnecessarily help their enemies. Some of the things that they can do, they should do. But otherwise, they are not in a position something big, because for that you need to prepare.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is by Mohammed, who's asking, Sheikh, when will you come to India in 2025? Before Eid or after Eid?
Oh, my plan, inshallah, is to come after Eid, after Ramadan. I don't know where are you. I don't know if we can meet. I will come only to Lucknow. Maybe I go to Delhi and Jaunpur. Yeah.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question uh, is how can non-Muslims understand the challenge to produce a surah when Arabic isn't their language and is difficult to study?
You don't need to challenge Muslims or non-Muslims to produce anything from the Quran, really. And even if they produce, who's going to tell them that you're not equal to the Quran? Who's going to argue them? It is useless thing that happened in the time of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the Arabs could not do. They were the address, and it was clear that the book of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. What now you need to do is take the Quran translation, make people to read, because this book is the book of the fitra, nature. When people read it with proper head, they will understand it. Their mind will help them. That's what you need really. You don't need to challenge anybody anything. Just call people to Islam, give them book, ask them to read, ask them to understand. That's all.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. We've got one private question that's come in. It says, I'm confused. I have listened to an interview of Dr. Akram Nadwi with Mufti Layth and Nu'man Ali Khan. At Mufti Layth interview, Dr. Akram is saying magic is only trickery of a magician, but with Nu'man Ali Khan interview, he says that magic is khayal. Nothing changes, but it can create misunderstanding between husband and wife. I'm not getting if it's only illusion or trickery, like a magic show. How can it cause misunderstanding between husband and wife at home? Please explain.
Yeah, could be anything really that, people create misunderstanding so many things. Somebody, kind pressure on your mind, and you start thinking that your husband is talking to someone, and then somebody just whisper to you and tell that, he's in love with that woman or something like that, and they start thinking like that. So people can change the mind. So many things really. People back that how people backbite. So that what magic basically is like he's right, khayal. Quran said means it just works on your imagination. You start thinking differently. If you're a strong person, magic will not work upon you. So people start thinking that direction, and that is typical. Otherwise, magic does nothing. If magic can change anything, then magician can become rich. They can make paper as money and go and do shopping, but they can't do. Magicians can kill all the prime ministers of the countries, and they become rulers. They can't do anything. So magic actually is very very small thing. Like I can make you to sleep, fall, and then you will be hurt. The same thing, magicians can make people to sleep, to have some dispute in the family. I can make a dispute without magic. I can say something to your wife and something to husband, and then create a problem between both of them. It can be done. That what magic does. Don't worry about magic so much. Just say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim." Turn to Allah, and all magics will disappear.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. That is all for today. Unfortunately, if your question wasn't asked, please remember it and we'll endeavor to ask it next week. Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh, for your time, and Jazakallahu khairan, everyone, for tuning in. And inshallah, we'll be back here next week, same time as always. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.